Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about top 21 video games of 2016. I'm going to be ranking all the games upcoming and already released. And it's sort of my personal picks, but at the same time, other people's personal picks as well. So, yeah, just most like just people who like the game and stuff like that. I'm gonna be ranking them. So yeah, at number 21 we have Total War Warhammer, which comes out April 28th. So Total War Warhammer is a real-time tactics video game with turn-based strategy elements. Unlike its predecessors, which feature historical settings, Warhammer introduces a fantasy setting as well as characters from the Warhammer universe. These characters, which include monsters, warriors, and heroes, which can be controlled by the player. The game will also feature four playable factions at launch, which are the Empire, the Greenskins, the Dwarfs, and the Vampire Counts. Each faction will have access to their own unique units. For instance, the Greenskins faction features units such as trolls, giants, and Arachnarok spiders. The Empire is a human faction which features units like steam tanks. Each faction will have their own unique campaign element. For example, a Wah system, which pushes the player to be constantly on the warpath, is unique to the Greenskins faction. A new quest mode featuring battles such as the Battle of Blackfire Pass tasks players to complete missions and battles to receive unlockable items and abilities will be one of the new game modes offered in Warhammer. Flying creatures such as dragons will also make appearances in the game. The campaign map is somewhat similar to the one in the and computer just shut off. Okay. Will also make an appearance in the game. The campaign map is somewhat similar to the one in Attila, with the exception being the diversity in physical terrain and climate, as well as one from the Chaos Waste in the north of the to the greenskin infested Badlands in the south, and from the Great Ocean in the west to the Dwarven Realms and the Wolf's Edge Mountains to the east. That's quite complicated. Magic will also be one of the elements introduced in Warhammer, with most of the factions, such as the Empire and the Vampire Counts, will having access to the various lores of magic, and certain factions, such as the Dwarves and some non-playable AI-controlled factions, having absolutely none or limited access to magic. Unlike other Total War games, agents such as Call Fronts that's a fun word, will be featured in battles as well as the campaign map. Named agents can get injured in battles, what? While the unnamed ones could be killed and cannot be revived and used again. Total War Warhammer features a wider variety of animations. For example, 30 types of different skeletons and body types will be introduced in the game instead of the only five to six types as in its predecessors, as well as flying units such as dragons. Other gameplay features from the Total War series, such as city building, diplomacy, and unit building, will remain unchanged in Warhammer. Corruption will also feature in the game, although it's a bit altered as it will be more of an external element caused by presence of vampire count and chaos armies rather than internal factors. The reason why I put this here is because I'm not too familiar with the Total War series, so yeah, but pretty cool game nonetheless. Number 20 is Battleborn, which comes out May 3rd. Battleborn is a first-person shooter with multiplayer online battle arena elements, so MOBA, I guess, um, in which players get engaged in combat through a first-person perspective. Unlike other first-person shooters, the quests and game modes of the game were designed to feature a format and structure similar to a multiplayer, multi, similar to a MOBA game. The game will feature a leveling system which resets when a match begins. The players, so like, if you've heard of, I think it was like astronaut, no, not astronauts. It's a weird game back in the day. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to go on like some crazy stuff. Hold on a second. Um, I forgot what his name was. But it was like that one game that had knots at the end. It was like you got upgrades from spawn and then you went to fight. I can't remember what it was called at all. Players will start with the same basic level and they can unlock new skills and abilities during a match. When players gain enough skill points and are allowed to level up, they can select one of up to three choices to pick per level through each character's unique helix tree. The game will feature 25 playable characters upon release, with each having different abilities and weapons. For example, Raph is a melee-based character who is equipped with a katana, while Thorn is a long-range character whose primary weapon is a bow. Characters of supporting roles, such as Miko, that's a fun word, who specializes in healing other characters of the same team, will also be playable. Each character also has their own ultimate ability. In addition to melee and ranged combat, characters can also cast magic and area of effective attacks. So AOE. Okay, I'm using all the video game terms now. So characters controlled by artificial intelligence, aka AI. Man, they should just use the terms instead of just doing the full thing. Then just use the anyways. Will also be featured in the game. Players can also switch to third-person perspective to activate special abilities. So pretty much this game is like, man, I'm forgetting every single thing now. Evolve, there we go. That game from last year where you play, it was like five people, four of them are hunters, one, yeah, one is a monster. There was like Kraken and Mammoth and well, not Mammoth, something like that. In that game, this seems a bit similar. So yeah, a campaign mode which can be played solo or co-op with four other players will also be included in the game. The game will feature an interconnected world and, and an objective-based driven narrative. Three modes called Meltdown and Arena Mode Incursion, which task players to destroy enemy bases, and Devastation, which tasks players to capture bases, will also be featured and playable upon launch. The game is set in a space fantasy setting um, in which every species fled to a star known as Solus, Solas? I don't know. Solus after a disastrous event that destroyed most other planets and stars in the universe. These species are divided into different factions upon their arrivals, and eventually they united and cooperate with each other by sending out I can't speak English. Sending out the best fighters who are labeled as Battleborn. Roll credits to fight against Florelsi, the origin of the catastrophe. Um, Florelsi? That for some reason makes me think of the Fallen from Destiny. I don't know. Next game at number 19 is Fire Emblem Fates. Birthright and Conquest, those versions came out February 19th, and Revelation, which is the DLC for the game, comes out in March 10th. My TV just died, so everything's dying. I don't know what's going on with it. In Fire Emblem this is gonna be a long one, by the way. If you think the other two were long, no, this is just the definition of long, definition of insanity, man. In Fire Emblem Fates, the player begins by customizing their main character. Their gender, appearance, and name can be changed to the player's preference. At the game's beginning, there are three difficulties: normal, hard, and lunatic. Actually, just yeah, I don't know which one the caving K wings have. I think it's conquest, but there's no easy. So, but birthright actually has easy. So yeah, there are also modes that dictate the fate of characters in battle should they be defeated. In classic mode, a fallen unit is subject to permanent death. Permanent death. That's probably my favorite trend of Fire Emblem. Is permanent death. A recurring mode in the Fire Emblem series that removes fallen characters from the rest of the game. Casual mode enables units to be revived at the end of a battle. The new Phoenix mode revives units on the following player turn. The game features online multiplayer, featuring 5 maps as standard. Matches can be carried out with selected players, random players, or through local multiplayer. So like co-op, pretty much. Like you're at the same console, but one is like next to you. Well, he's next to you. So yeah, random battles are played either with standard rules or with special limitations. The fog of war of environmental effect is removed, and turns have limits of 5 minutes. Battles take place on a grid-based battlefield, which turns being with turns being God, I suck today. uh, I'm really, really bad this week. So, with turns being given for players and enemies, each unit moves within an area predetermined by their character class. During an attack, the view transitions from a top-down perspective to a third-person view. Environments and terrain vary between levels, ranging from mountainous regions to flatlands. Unique ability members of each kingdom's royal family have within the game is Dragonvein, a contextual ability that enables them to alter environment, the environment in favor of their side. The game's character class system has different sets of classes available in each version. Each character begins the game with a starting class. The main protagonist begins as a Dark Princess, while Azura begins as a dancer. So, each class can be evolved into more powerful versions and or changed to a different class altogether. What, like previous games in the series, like previous games in the series, Fire Emblem Fates features a weapon triangle, a system where swords beat axes, axes beat lances, and lances beat swords. However, in Fates, there is a second set of weapon types in the triangle, with swords and magic beating axes and bows beating lances and hidden weapons, and lances and hidden weapons beating swords and magic. Uh, that wasn't complicated. Weapons and fates do not have a limited number of uses before they break. Instead, stronger weapons will lower some of the other users' abilities. For instance, while the Brave Sword allows its users to attack twice, it also lowers their defense and magic defense stats. Um, why does my TV keep on dying, man? Hold up a second. Okay, alright. Where was I? Okay, character relationships are developed during and between battle. Building affinity in battle unlocks additional actions such as an adjacent unit blocking an attack or attacking alongside the currently controlled unit. Outside battle, relationships between characters can be fostered to the point of marriage and children. Okay, fine. These children's appearance and abilities are determined by their parents. What is this Fallout? known as Fallout Shelter. Okay, then fine. The Fates introduces a feature called My Castle, in which the player is able to create a base for their army, where they can establish shops, buy weapons and items, and interact with allied characters in the battlefield. Okay. Shops can be leveled up, which allows the player to choose from a wider range of items to buy. Players can run a farm in their base, allowing them to make food. At the restaurant in the base, they can serve food, which will grant characters who eat it positive effects. However, some foods can also have negative effects. The player is also able to set up a room for the player character, which they can invite allies to interact with. Players are also able to visit other players' bases using the Street Pass functionality of the Nintendo 3DS. During a visit, they can fight the other player's army, buy items, and recruit characters. As different items are available in the two versions of the game, this allows players to access the two items that normally would be unavailable. Each version of Fates is focused around a different gameplay style. The gameplay of Birthright is similar to the previous installment Fire Emblem Awakening and features opportunities to gain extra gold and experience. In contrast, Conquest rewards players limited experience and currency per completed map. Also included are additional objectives in battle such as defending a base or suppressing enemy forces, and some levels have a limited number of turns. Another two paragraphs and we're done. So, Fates is primarily set in the territories of the kingdoms of Hoshido and Nor. Their royalty share a similar line of descent from ancient dragons, but each kingdom worships different dragon deities, and so exist in a state of war. Okay, from the Jews and the Muslims, for central location is the hidden kingdom of Vala. I read that Valhalla the first time. Uh, a place only accessible during peace between Hoshido and Nor. Once ruled by humans, it is now ruled by the dragon Anankos, who is worshipped under different guises in Hoshido and Nor and uses that to provoke war. In the Invisible History DLCs, what? They're just copying One Piece with that. It is revealed that Anankos was formerly a kind and wise dragon who gave wisdom to humanity, but his growing power and ability to ascend to the spirit realm with other dragons began corrupting him. After he killed Kvala's king in an uncontrolled fit of bestial rage, he went mad. His remaining sanity, I read that the other way, and kindness took temporary shelter in a human form and fathered the Avatar, aka the player character, before dying, while his dragon self began an insane crusade to destroy humanity. The central character is the Avatar, whose name, Corn by default. Gender and appearance can be customized by the player, as said previously. A number of a member of the Hoshido royal family. They were captured by the Nor at a young age. They have the unique ability of transforming into a dragon. The other central character is Azura, a member of the Nor royal family who was taken in by the Hoshida as part of their efforts to rescue the Avatar. Um, Holding power over water, she is one of the companions to join the Avatar, whichever story route they take. The main characters among the Hoshido include the Avatar's brothers Ryoma and Takumi, who respectively wield the legendary weapons of Hoshido, the Rajin Katana and the Fujin Bow, and their sisters Hinoka and Sakura. The main players from the North side include the Avatar's adoptive brothers Xander and Leo, respectively wield the legendary weapons of Nor, the sword Siegfried, and the tome Brunhilde. I think a tome is like a book or something. I don't know. And sisters Camilla and Elise, and their guardian Gunter. Other characters include the respective rulers of Hoshido and Nor, Mikoto and Garon, Sumeragi, the former king of Hoshido, and Anankos, the dragon ruler of Vala and blood father of the Avatar. That's it for Fire Emblem's Fates. Um, Something I failed to mention. Technically, this came out last year, but this is the North American release. It came out last year in Japan, so technically it's not really a 2016 game, but it's still a 2016 game. Now at number 18, we're only 20 minutes in. Fine. We've only talked about 3 games. We're already 20 minutes in. Jeez. Um, Number 18 is of course Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2, which came out February 23rd in when did it come out? Came out February 23rd in North America and 25th worldwide. Um, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 is a third-person shooter similar to Garden Warfare. Gameplay will largely remain the same as its predecessor, with the addition of 6 new plants and zombie classes, a zombie version of Garden Ops titled Graveyard Ops, and, and a new mode called Herbal Assault Mode, which supports up to 24 players. Different classes have different abilities. Most characters and modes, Team Vanquish, Garden Ops, etc., from the original Garden Warfare will be remaining. New remix musics, what? New remix musics from the original Garden Warfare will for the zombies. Um, New abilities for returning characters will also be introduced in Garden Warfare 2. Unlike the first game, while in the original Garden Warfare, can also play solo on Garden Ops via private mode. In Garden Warfare 2, every mode in the game can be played solo. Split screen multiplayer, private servers, 12 maps, and 40 different characters will be supported at launch. Free additional content will also be released regularly upon the game's release. An internet connection will still be required, as in the first game. A new mode called Backyard Battleground is also introduced. It serves as a hub world that is free for players to explore. The Backyard Battleground, players can access portals that are connected to missions, view unlocked characters' bobbleheads, collect collectibles scattered in the world, and join King of the Hill style matches known as Flag of Power matches against artificial intelligence at will. While playing Backyard Battleground, the game will send waves of enemy heroes, although the game will also send crates containing either an AI ally or coins. There are also plant pots or places where the player can build either plant turrets or zombie bots. Shooting gallery and moon base missions are also featured. Plant and zombie variants the player earned in the original game will automatically transfer to this game. UI has been improved with Crazy Dave and Dr. Zomboss shown talking in 3D model of themselves rather than appearing in 2D as 2D designs from the original Plants vs. Zombies. At the bases of both the plants and zombies, there are several common features, including a customization room allowing the player to choose and accessorize characters. Accessorize? I don't know why that sounds wrong. A quest board with different objectives for plants, multiplayer and zombies, sticker shops, a multiplayer portal, a mailbox, and a special garage with quest missions for both sides. Set after the events of Garden Warfare, the plants have been defeated by the zombies after Dr. Edgar Zomboss contacts his future self and obtains the more technologically advanced Z-Mech, which is piloted by zombie imps. The zombies use it to turn the tide on the plants and conquer Suburbia, which they rename Zomburbia. The plants go to war against the zombies to reclaim their home and fight for what is left of Suburbia. At the start of the game, the player grows in Suburbia as a sunflower and is warped out by Crazy Dave, landing in the plant side of the backyard battleground. Okay, so that's it for Plants vs. Zombies. Now at number 17, we have EA Sports. It's in the game UFC 2. Um, I had it just a second ago. Let me get it again. So it comes out March 15th in North America and 17th in Europe. So, yeah. It's essentially the same thing from last year. So, yeah. The game's artificial intelligence accommodates for changes in player strategies mid-game to make the gaming experience more realistic than in previous UFC games. The game also simulates full-body deformation to connect players with their player character. New features were introduced. The new knockout physics system allows players to knock out opponents dynamically based on finishing hits, momentum, and strength. The Ultimate Team mode allows players to create not more than 5 different fighters. Players can earn coins after each fight, and these coins can be used for customizing and upgrading the 5 fighters. The career mode received changes, the most significant of which is the addition of female fighters and well, female fighters. Grapple Assist, which is a visual tool that serves as a guide for players, was added to the game. There is also a KO mode that feature that focuses on strikes instead of grapples or submissions. Submission, grappling, parrying, blocking were improved from the first game. Other features include custom event creator, title chase, a multiplayer championship mode, and a practice mode for new players. Players who pre-ordered the game can play as 3 additional fighters: Bass Rutten, uh, Kazushi Sakuraba, Kazuchi Sakuraba, and Mike Tyson. The game features more than 250 playable characters, one of which will hopefully be CM Punk. Woo woo! So yeah, at number 16 we have Lego Marvel's Avengers, which came out. Let me get it up for a second. Which came out January 26th in North America, in the PAL region, so like France, on January 27th, and in the UK on January 29th. Gameplay is similar to LEGO's long-running series of franchise video games with a focus on puzzle solving interspersed interspersed with action. Players often have to solve puzzles spread across the game environment, such as figuring out how to move a particular truck that is blocking their objective, or their progression. Sorry. As always, the game has its own unique quirks. For instance, taking advantage of its large character library in areas that require 2 specific characters to team up in order to proceed. Boss battles can also take the form of puzzles, often requiring careful timing. Hold up a second. My father's coming. No. Okay, there we go. Boss battles also take place in the form of puzzles, often requiring careful timing. While action and fighting are spread liberally throughout the game, it is kept very child-friendly as per LEGO custom. The game features New York City as the main large open world hub, but also, for the first time, includes a dozen other movie significant areas players can travel to, including Asgard, Malibu, South Africa, the Helicarrier, the Barton's Farm, Washington, D.C., and Sokovia. Most of these are from like four. Um, I think Hulk is in there somewhere. Avengers, obviously. Avengers 2, and that's pretty much it. I don't really know most of the others. These hubs also feature heavy playability, with hundreds of side quests and bonus levels such as rescuing citizens in trouble, races, and more. The main story actually takes up a fairly small fraction of the game's total completion. Whilst the game's story is predominantly focused on the 2 Avengers films, Avengers 1, Marvel's The Avengers, and Avengers Age of Ultron, there are also single levels based on Captain America, the first Avenger, Iron Man 3, for the Dark World, and Captain America: The Winter Soldier, the first Avenger, if I should say that right. See, as I said just a second ago, follows the plots of both Avengers movies and Captain America, Iron Man, and for Dark World. It features major characters from the Avengers movies as well as characters from comic books and TV shows. Characters include Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, Thor, Ultron, Loki, Winter Soldier, Falcon, Vision, and War Machine, and some lesser known characters such as Devil Dinosaur and Fin Fan Foom. That's kind of difficult to say. Hold up a second, I gotta do something again. Okay, I'm back. Um, the game features over 200 playable characters, including returning ones from the previous game. The heroes are drawn not just from the players in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but the comics as well. Uh, director Director Arthur Parsons stated it's a celebration of everything Avengers. Uh, Comic books, movies, cartoons is everything you love about the Avengers in a video game. Confirmed additional characters include Kamala Khan as Miss Marvel, Sam Wilson's Captain America appearance, America Chavez, Jane Foster's four form, that's difficult to say, Wiccan, and Speed. Every two characters have their own unique team up abilities. There are even separate ones for what character is triggering the attack, meaning nearly 800 team up moves. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Next up, we have at number 15, XCOM 2, which came out on February 5th. This is also pretty long, and I think will be the last one for this video. Um, as with previous games in the series, XCOM 2 cast the player as the commander of the eponymous military organization, XCOM, now a resistance force opposing the ongoing alien occupation of the planet. Players take control of the Avenger, the new mobile base for XCOM. Players are tasked to give commands to squad members in battles against aliens during missions, while commanding the engineering and research department of the base between missions to create and research improved and new gadgets, weapons, and technologies to assist players in battles. Soldiers can be recruited with each soldier class having their own skill trees and abilities. For example, the Grenadier class can give access to explosive and grenade launchers, while the Ranger is equipped with melee weapons like swords. The armor and weaponry can also be researched and upgraded by the player in the Avenger base. Um, each mission's environment is influenced by the world state, while maps are procedurally generated to create a wide variety of levels, in which every map features different terrain and buildings in each playthrough. Mods are also supported. Campaign classes Campaign class and enemy types can be created by users and can be shared through Steam Workshop. And a one versus one multiplayer mode also returns from Enemy Unknown. New enemies are also featured, such as units from the new faction, Advent, and more alien types like the Viper. At the start of most missions, the player's squad will be concealed and will not be detected by any enemies. They can position their troops to plan their battle and ambush enemies. The player can also loot corpses of enemies to obtain weapons, upgrade parts, and artifacts. Melee weapons are also featured. Players can also hack into enemies' mechanical weapons like turrets and temporarily shut down or control them for themselves. Soldiers in the squad can be killed by the enemy. However, their bodies can be carried back to extraction to keep their equipment should the player deem it necessary to abort the mission. Likewise, if a soldier is critically wounded and it is deemed necessary to abandon the mission, a soldier can carry the wounded soldier to extraction, where they are revived upon leaving the map. XCOM 2 features a faster combat than Enemy Unknown, as there are a lot of hit-and-run missions where players must rush in to facilities to complete their objective quickly and return to the extraction point immediately. This includes semi-random attacks on the Avenger by alien UFOs, which will cause an automatic game loss if failed. The mission structure of the game is also different from other XCOM video games, as XCOM 2 features secondary objectives for the first time in the series. Reinforcements play a bigger role, and depending on the Avatar program, a research project will run by the aliens that gradually proceeds over time, and if completed, is an automatic loss. This can be delayed by sabotaging alien research facilities and other semi-random events. Customization also returns from Enemy Unknown, in which players can customize their soldiers' personalities, names, uniforms, and costumes. Furthermore, genders, nationalities, and weapons can also be customized. Both bonus customization options are available to those who pre-order the game in the downloadable Resistance Warrior Pack. The game is set in 2035, 20 years after the events of XCOM Enemy Within, in a scenario in which humanity was defeated by aliens. XCOM proved incapable of attenuating the alien threat and was quickly betrayed by the Council Nations, who surrendered to the aliens shortly after the invasion began. XCOM became nothing more than a resistance force and went off the radar to avoid persecution at the hands of the aliens. Most of its members either submitted to alien rule or left behind their past, or like some, like Central Officer Bradford, refused the alien administration and went into hiding. Earth is now controlled by the aliens through the puppet Advent administration, and XCOM has long been forgotten. Members silenced and records erased. Advent has done much to gradually improve the public opinion of the aliens, most notably by the propagation of the belief that the aliens came in peace and that the forces of Earth retaliated aggressively and with prejudice. This is presumed to have happened right after the player researches mechs and, as stated in by the autopsy of an Advent mech. The player again assumes the role of the commander, who had up until recently been in alien stasis, who had up until recently been placed in alien stasis for them to make use of their strategic thinking via an implant. After the commander is rescued by Central Officer Bradford, an XCOM launches an attack supply barge that has been converted into XCOM's mobile base. In the Avenger, the commander has the support of rogue Advent scientist Dr. Richard Teigen, replacing the now missing Dr. Valen, and Chief Engineer Annie Shin, daughter of and successor to the dead, now deceased Dr. Raymond Shen, who the commander was familiar with in XCOM Enemy Unknown and XCOM Enemy Within. And that's it for this part of the most looked forward to games of 2016. Part 2 uploaded very shortly, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I think probably be multiple parts. Hopefully not, but yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this part. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys in the next video.